Hey, what's up, fam? How you doing? I hope you're doing fine wherever you are today. Now, Bernie Sanders have played a significant role in the shifting American political conversation, and he holds one of the most important key conversation about American politics and everything which is happening in the United States that I feel like we need to discuss. And in a recent video that I saw, he tried to address something that really touches the hearts of America because what he says affects people of the United States. And this is what he says. I want you to watch this video and just listen to what he says because it seems like there is a huge divide of two groups of people in the United States: the super rich and the poor. People who are really struggling. And now he explains the problem that causes this, and he explains how the America itself has a great problem. I want you to watch this video. I'll be back. And if you're watching this video for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe to the channel, join our membership, and really get so I can offer you. Let's get it.
It's an opportunity to wish everybody a very happy holiday season and a wonderful new year. As we come to the end of 2024, it might be helpful to take a hard look at where we are as a nation and how we can best go forward. And let me be honest with you in saying that we are in an extraordinarily pivotal and volatile moment in American history, and things are moving very, very rapidly. The most important point that I want to stress today is how fast our country is evolving into an oligarchic society and into two very different Americas. On one hand, we have an America that consists of less than 1,000 billionaires, not a whole lot of people in a nation of 340 million, who have an unprecedented amount of wealth and power and have never, ever had it so good. That's one America. The other America, where the vast majority of our people live, consists of tens of millions of families who are struggling to put food on the table, pay their bills, and worry that their kids will have a lower standard of living than they do. In the first America, the uber wealthy buy $500 million yachts, $270 million mansions. They have private islands all to themselves. They got fleets of jets to take them all over the world. And occasionally they take cool trips on rocket ships that blast off to the edge of outer space. A lot of fun. They also receive the best health care money can buy, and they send their kids to the very best private schools and colleges in the world. In this America, the three wealthiest men, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. Three people own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. And their wealth is skyrocketing. Musk alone is now worth over $450 billion. And combined, these three men are now worth almost $1 trillion. In the other America, millions of Americans are struggling just to provide for the basic necessities of life. In this America, over 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck. Millions work for starvation wages. 85 million are uninsured or underinsured. And over 60,000 die each year because they can't afford to go to a doctor on time. In other words, we are living in a nation today where a handful of billionaires have more money than they could spend in 1,000 lifetimes, while at the same time, millions are living in desperation, fear, and are struggling to survive. But let's be clear. Our country is not just experiencing an unprecedented level of income and wealth inequality. Today, the ruling elite have brought about a situation in which we now have more concentration of ownership than we have ever had before. In other words, a small number of giant corporations have enormous control over our economy. in sector after sector: healthcare, agriculture, financial services, energy, transportation, you name it. A small number of giant conglomerates control what is produced and how much we as consumers pay for their products. Unbelievably, just 3 Wall Street firms, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, control assets of more than $22 trillion. These 3 Wall Street firms are the major shareholders in 95% of S&P 500 companies, exerting enormous control of the largest corporations in the world. 3 Wall Street firms, unbelievable power. And that is not all in terms of what's going on today. It's not just the billionaire ownership and control over the economy and the media that should concern us. The uber rich are also buying our government. They are buying our government and undermining American democracy. Never before in our history have we seen a ruling class with so much political power. As a result of the disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, billionaires and their super PACs can spend unlimited sums of money on political campaigns. And that is exactly what they are doing. You get 1 vote. They get to spend unlimited amounts of money. During the 2024 election cycle, just 150 billionaires, 150 people, spent nearly $2 billion to buy politicians who support their agenda and to defeat candidates who oppose their special interests. Billionaires who represent just 0.0005% of our population accounted for 18% of total campaign spending. My friends, that is not democracy. That is not 1 person, 1 vote. That is not what this country is supposed to stand for. In his Gettysburg Address in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln spoke about, quote, a government of the people, by the people, for the people, end quote. Well, sadly today, we have a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, for the billionaire class. We are in a pivotal and unprecedented moment in American history. That's the simple reality. Either we fight aggressively all over this country to create a government and an economy that works for all of us, or we will continue to move rapidly down the path of oligarchy and the rule of the super rich. The choice is clear. We must stand together for democracy and justice. Let's do it. Thank you all very much.
We hope that message set in and just makes people think about what kind of future you guys want going forward. It doesn't matter who's in office, but a lot of people have way too much power, and that doesn't really benefit anybody. So don't sleepwalk into the next 25 years if you're not going to have the control that you think you have as an American, and be mindful of what's going on around you. So that's my message. I'll catch you guys in the next division video. Have a good one. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Bernie Sanders describes the United States as an oligarchy for a couple of reasons. And the first one is because of one is concentration of wealth. Now, a tiny fraction of Americans, often referred to as the top 1%, controls a significant portion of the nation's wealth. Example, in 2021, the top 1% owned over 38% of the country's wealth, while the bottom owned 50%, about 2%. That's crazy. That's a huge gap. And he talks about the concentration of wealth. Now, again, Sanders argues that this concentration leads to the rich shaping laws, policies, and practices in their favor, leaving the majority economically disadvantaged. And you look at this group of the oligarchs, you know them, right? And I think he has talked about some of them in the video. And now this is just a question to my black audience. I used the word black in the title of the video because this channel is proportionately for black people. Now, what portion do we black people have? What's the fate of us in regards to what's really happening in the United States today, right? Is it our fight? Is it black people's fight in regards to what's really happening in this country? I mean, I just want to know. Just let me know. Because we are members. Black people are members of this country. Black people are members in the United States, right? But you find that systemically black people were also affected in this, but no one was talking about this. But right now it's happening to vast majority of people in the United States, and now it's becoming an issue. Like, everyone needs to address this issue. Now, question to you: do you think we as black folks, this is our fight? Right? I want to know. Let me know if this is our fight. And if this is our fight, because we have a group of people who will say that we need to move together, we need to work together so that we can dismantle these systems that keeps people poor. There's a concentration margin. There's a huge margin. There's a huge gap between black people and white people. And when the stats are being showed, like generally, the demographics in regards to wealth, people who have wealth, you realize that there is a huge gap that has white people with a huge number of wealth. But now, according to the stats, there is a top percentage, that's 38% of people. That's 1% who owns 38% and 50% who own only 2%. What does this mean? This means that when you put out the systemic barriers that affect black people are just somewhere below, right? So my question is this our fight as black people in the United States, or is this just something that we need to sit down and just watch it, right? So I'm also going to be talking about corporate influence on politics, campaign contributions and lobbying. Billionaires and corporations donate vast amounts of money to political campaigns and use lobbying to sway legislation. He has talked about Elon Musk, he has talked about, different people that I don't want to mention them in this video, right? The influence often undermines democracy as the policies favor donors rather than the general public. Yeah, they'll come to you and tell you that, if you be the president, I'll do this and this and this and this and this. And then in you, as an oligarch, you as a person who is an elite, you as a person who owns these factors of resources, not everybody owns this. You'll get to jump right into it because, you want it, right? The third thing that I would like to talk about, that I also feel like it's important when we reflect on what Bernie Sanders was trying to say: rigged tax and economic policies. Now, look, tax laws and policies often disproportionately benefit large corporations and wealthy through loophole subsidies and low tax rates, right? For example, while working class in the United States pay significant taxes, major companies like Amazon have occasionally paid little or no federal taxes. Now, Sanders criticizes these policies for widening income inequality and enabling the rich, to grow richer at the expense of the middle and working classes. Right now, the fourth thing, which is now dominantly in the video of amongst the things that he was stressing, and he was talking about wage inequality and worker exploration. This is what the United States is good at, right? Because everyone is complaining about the housing system, everyone is complaining about the high living standard that has increased, but the wages is still there. What does this mean? This means that most of people are being exploited. Right now, the stagnation of wages for ordinary workers contrasts sharply with the skyrocketing executive compensation. When you look at even the job sector, CEOs often earn 100 times more than their employees. Sanders sees this as a systemic problem that sustains economic hierarchy, keeping power concentrated at the top. And these are the oligarchs that we are talking about. The fifth thing that I'm going to be talking about is lack of accountability for the wealthy. The wealthy also, they lack what is called accountability. Now, Sanders highlights how large corporations and wealthy individuals evade accountability for unethical behavior, including financial fraud or exploitations. For example, banks and corporations deemed too big to fail were bailed. Look at what happened in the year 2008, right, when the banks are defaulting. While ordinary Americans lost homes and jobs, they don't care. The oligarchs don't care. They don't have what is called accountability. As long as their pockets are full, that's what they want. They don't care about you, right? Now, there are a lot of evidence that are supporting the claim that United States is an oligarch, right? Because according to statistics and what Dr. Bernie Sanders often cites in his works, one is Princeton study on the US democracy, which happened in the year 2014, right? Now, the Princeton study on US democracy, which happened in 2014, highlights that policies often align with the interest of the wealthy elite rather than the preferences of the majority of the citizens. Two, economic inequality data. Despite economic growth, the benefits have been disproportionately captured by the wealthy, leaving the working class Americans struggling. And Barnes is trying to lobby for change, and he believes that when he talks about this, change will come, and everyone in the United States will find a way or ways of surviving this. I had a few things to say about this, and I hope that this video finds you right, finds you well wherever you are today. This is a presenter Jintok Stories, and if you're seeing this video for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe to the channel, join our membership, really get to see what we can offer you. But until then, I'm hoping to see you in my next video. Oh, I forgot. If you wish to buy me a coffee, you can check out my Cash App account. Is on my bio. I'll most definitely appreciate. So what's up, guys? I'm gonna be seeing you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.